Welcome, dear friends, to our thrilling and captivating channel. Let's embark on a journey unlike any other. Imagine a book emerging not from ink and paper, but from the void, from nothingness itself. This is no ordinary phrase. It perfectly encapsulates what we're diving into today. A manuscript so peculiar, it defies all norms. It's not lost or hidden, it exists, yet harbors secrets far greater than its mere presence. Trust me, friends, I caution against delving too deep into its pages. For this manuscript, just one copy, has sparked the greatest controversies in history, leaving scholars baffled by its cryptic riddles. Who penned this manuscript? When and where? And what connection does it hold with the infernal? Stay with us as we embark on a journey through the enigmatic realm of history. Our episode today revolves around a book, but not just any book. It's a tome unlike any other, possibly the only one of its kind, believed to have been authored or influenced by a non-human entity. A book whose strangeness transcends its cover, its contents, even its authorship, adorned with bizarre illustrations and ancient texts. And here's the kicker, this book is very much real, not merely a myth. Join us as we uncover the truth about the Devil's Manuscript, or as it's known, the Gigas Codex. Stay tuned for the revelation. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our latest content. You can further support the channel on Patreon through the link in the description box, enabling us to continue bringing you exciting and fresh content. Your support makes a significant difference for us. The appearance and specifications of the book. The Devil's Manuscript, or the Gigas Codex, is a book according to researchers from the Middle Ages. And it is indeed the largest book from the medieval period. And when I say the largest book, I mean it literally. It's colossal. The book weighs about 75 kilograms. According to scholars, it requires 2 people to carry it. As for its dimensions, it measures 91 centimeters in length, 50.5 centimeters in width, and approximately 23 centimeters in thickness. Can you imagine the size of this book, my friends? Let's continue with the description of the book. The outer cover of the book consists of 2 pieces of wood fastened together with engraved wooden clasps. But the strangest aspect lies within the pages of the book. The pages of the book are made of animal skins. Yes, you heard me right, my friends, animal skins. What's even more astonishing is that each double page requires the complete skin of an animal. Therefore, according to analysts, completing the book, which consists of 310 pages, required skinning nearly 150 animal. Scientists have debated whether the skins used are from donkeys or young calves. But if you're wondering who wrote the book, the answer is simply unknown. The author of the book remains unidentified to this day, a subject of much debate. Why? That's what you'll discover during this episode. As for the book itself, it resembles an encyclopedia of some ancient sacred texts and some prevalent practices and information from the Middle Ages. In addition to some drawings, each one a subject of debate and mystery in its own right. And now we come to the name of the book. The book has different names. It was named the Gigas Codex, which literally means giant book in Latin. And I believe the reason is clear from what has been mentioned. And another infamous name it's garnered is the Devil's Book or the Devil's Gospel. Why? Because it is said that the devil wrote it. How? We'll get to that part later in the episode. But for now, let's go back in history to find out where this book came from and what its fate was. The history and story of the book. According to analyses conducted on the book, its age is estimated to be around 800 years old, dating back to the 13th century. It is evident to researchers and historians alike that the book was created by monks in one of the ancient monasteries in what was previously Bohemia, now known as the Czech Republic. There is no specific date for the writing of the Devil's Book. Scientists have not found clear evidence of its writing date. However, on the first page of the book, researchers found a note stating that the book was gifted by this monastery, known as the Podlasis Monastery, in 1295 to another monastery in Sedlec, Bohemia. In the same year, a monastery called the Benedictine Order of Brevno purchased the book. The book reappeared in 1594 when the Roman Emperor Rudolph II, known for his obsession with mysterious matters, magic, and the like, requested the monastery to lend him the book for reading, promising to return it once finished. The emperor took the book to his castle in Prague and kept it there. The book remained in the castle until Swedish forces entered Czechia and occupied the castle between 1618 and 1648, during the 30 Years' War. The book was among the spoils of war for the Swedish army. It reached Sweden and was placed in the royal palace in Stockholm. However, a fire broke out in the palace in 1697 and reached the library. The person responsible for the books threw this book along with other precious books, thus saving it from destruction. One story about the book recounts that when it was thrown out of the window, a bystander below was seriously injured due to the unusually large size of the book. In 1878, the book officially became part of the new Royal Library's collection, which later transformed into the Swedish National Library, where the book still resides peacefully in a softly lit room, guarded against any harm. And so, the book is real and truly exists, and you can access it. Therefore, we must uncover the contents of this book, what mysterious and intriguing element it holds. And here marks our next stop. The content and the Devil's Page. According to historians, the book was penned during the Bohemian era by a Bohemian monk or monks. So, it must have religious content. Indeed, most of the book comprises sacred texts, elegantly written in Latin. The Vulgate, a version of the Bible from the 5th century AD, the official accepted text of the Catholic Church, is one of the prominent texts in the book. Along with the following, the Old Testament, Jewish antiquities by the 1st century AD Greek historian Flavius Josephus, the Jewish War by the same historian, an ancient encyclopedia titled Etymology from the 6th century AD, events in Bohemia by the historian Korsmas, a collection of medical texts called Ars Medicinae, as well as 2 books on physical medicine and the ancient world by Constantine the African. Additionally, there is a list of the names of monks in the first monastery where the book was housed, the Podlasis Monastery. A calendar of people who died during a specific period, another calendar containing the names of important Bohemian monks and their dates of honor, a historical record of local events, and ancient Hebrew, Greek, and Bohemian alphabets. The meaning of the enchantments and magical curses inscribed is still unknown. Texts related to demon expulsion and spirits were common in the Middle Ages. Moreover, the book contains numerous prayers and hymns believed to belong to ancient Bohemian monasteries. It's worth noting that official sources have confirmed about 10 pages of the book were torn. The content of these pages, you'll find out shortly. However, it wasn't just religious and historical texts. It also included many illustrations depicting animals, plants, and various architectural designs. Moreover, demonic figures and denizens of hell prominently featured in the book. Despite various celestial depictions, one particular drawing, located on page 577, stirred the most controversy. Each page in the book has 2 sides, meaning 2 pages. On this page, from top to bottom, there's a detailed colored illustration of the devil. He's clad in royal attire, signifying his dark royalty, seated between 2 tall towers. Terrifying. In ancient books, depictions of the devil were common. But what's strange about this drawing, apart from its precision and its occupation of an entire page, is its context. It's incomprehensible why the devil would be placed among religious text. And even stranger is the text preceding the devil's image. The text describes a complete exorcism ritual. Directly opposite this page is a detailed illustration of the heavenly city, with tall buildings and towers behind a red-colored wall. Before this drawing is a text indicating a sense of guilt, remorse, and a plea for forgiveness. This led interpreters to suggest that the 2 images represent the dichotomy between sin and repentance, and the fate of the sinner versus the believer. This raised a question. What compelled the author of the book to depict such a thing and write these texts? Before answering, let me tell you that the identity of the book's author itself bears a legend. A legend that, along with the devil's drawing, bestowed the book its infamous name, the Devil's Book. Get ready, my friends, and listen closely, for this legend is our next stop. The legend of the monk who penned it. Within the pages of the book, one name stands out, Herman the Recluse, which translates to Herman the Isolated or the Reclusive. The mention of this name birthed the legend of the book. According to the legend, a monk broke his monastic vows with unforgivable sins. What these sins were remains unknown, but phrases of remorse, shame, and guilt only fueled the spread of the legend. The monk's ultimate judgment was death by crucifixion on the wall. In a final attempt to save his life, the monk struck a deal with the monastery he belonged to. The agreement was for him to write a book encompassing all human knowledge attained at that time, all in one night. The monk secluded himself in his cell to begin writing. However, by midnight, he had only written a few pages, barely enough to count on one hand. The monk realized he was doomed by morning of the second day, so he resorted to the forbidden. He summoned the devil using ancient incantations and struck a deal with him. The deal stipulated that the monk would sell his soul to the devil in exchange for the Dark Prince finishing the book. The book was completed that very night. The monk presented his strange book to the monastery and earned his freedom. The legend stops here without revealing what happened to the monk. This is the legend, and thus the devil himself wrote the book, making it the devil's book. This legend was accompanied by many strange beliefs, including that whoever possesses the book becomes obscenely wealthy. Another belief is that the book brings misfortune to its owner. The indication, according to believers, is what happened to Emperor Rudolph II and the fire that broke out in the old royal library we mentioned earlier. But the book has been in the National Library since the 19th century and has suffered no harm. Therefore, these beliefs cannot be taken seriously. Even the interpretations of this book have not addressed the notion of good luck and bad luck associated with it. The controversial views of researchers. Most interpretations of the book somehow confirm the legend. According to a documentary produced by National Geographic on the subject, and based on several analyses, notably by the palmistry expert Michael Golick, it appears that a single individual wrote the entire book with precision, without any mistakes, and in the same style from start to finish, which is quite puzzling. According to Michael, completing the book by one person would require relentless work, day and night, without interruption for eating, sleeping, or any other essential activity, for a continuous period of 5 years. Such a feat seems improbable. Thus, according to one study, considering the hours required for eating, sleeping, and other activities, the book, in the manner it was found or written, would take at least 30 years to complete. This raises suspicion. One study found that although the handwriting and style are consistent, different types of ink were observed. It's possible that there was more than one writer. However, the prevailing opinion is that a single person was responsible for the writing. What drove a monk to such prolonged isolation to write such a book remains a mystery. How could he alone flay these animals and prepare their skins for writing? The expert's answer was, no one knows. Another thing, the torn pages, two contrasting opinions speculated on their content. The first suggests prayers, hymns, and teachings related to the ancient Bohemian monastery. But the second opinion, which is quite peculiar, suggests that the torn pages contain satanic prayers and invocations. They were torn by the monasteries that succeeded in keeping the book to prevent the use of satanic prayers. The contradiction within this book between sacred religious texts and drawings of Satan and his minions made the book a subject of controversy, especially since there is no known use for the book at all. While some consider it a holy book, others see it as a demonic work despite the presence of religious text. Some believe that the person who wrote the book intended to atone for a great sin committed. But the sin, the writer, and the reason remain unknown. The legend of the Devil's Book remains standing, a puzzle without an answer, to this day. The final result. So, my friends, that's what we've got regarding the mysterious Gigas Manuscript, also known as the Devil's Book. We've explored its massive size and description, delved into its bizarre content, peculiar drawings, and even stranger pages. We've sailed through its history and legend. And if you have an opinion, Please share it in the comments below because all the explanations have barely scratched the surface of the many questions it raises. Who wrote the book? Is it possible that the book in our current world is the work of Satan himself? Could anyone feasibly write such a book, once considered the eighth wonder of the world, in one night? Even if it was written by a monk, studies and analyses confirm it was written by one person. So how did the monk manage to write it alone? And why did he write it? Furthermore, what's the explanation behind the prominent depiction of Satan in the book? If so, what grave sin did the writer commit? Literally, all these questions remain unanswered. And if this confirms anything, it's our motto in most episodes. In this world, what we know is a drop, and what we don't know is the ocean. As for the truth behind this book and its real secret, only God knows. Do you, my friends, have any logical explanations about the book and who wrote it? I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and comments on this matter. Take care, and don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Also, consider supporting the channel on Patreon in the description box because your support makes a difference, allowing us to continue bringing you all that is intriguing and new. Stay tuned for more coming very soon.